Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the regular city council meeting to order. It is Monday, February 9th at 6 o'clock. We'll do a roll call. Mike?
Here.
Maureen?
Here.
Adam?
Here.
Ben?
Here.
Lindsay?
Here.
And Dara's excused. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comments. The council received public comments on any issues related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. Okay, hearing none. Next item is the consent agenda. City council minutes from January 26th, Planning Commission minutes from February 2nd, general fund balances for January, cash balances for January, paid invoice report from January, and Barb Lee special event permit application, baby shower at Freedom Park River Room on March 8th.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item, reports of standing committees and commissions. There's nothing for finance. Planning Commission report. Okay, so we had a public hearing for Great River zoning PUD, and it passed with a motion of 6-0. Luke presented the request for rezoning and planned unit development overlay related to Great Rivers, family residential zoning district and planned unit development. Aaron Sanford spoke regarding issues concerning related to traffic and water usage on 570th Avenue and Highway 35. Luke clarified it's part of the conditions of the approval and probably need to do a traffic study if there's going to be anything done on Highway 35. Then we closed the public hearing, and ordinance 0126 passed. Bluffs concept plan. Luke also presented information on the Bluffs, proposed 106 unit market rate family development at 1452 Glen Ridge. The proposals, 3 principal buildings. Capital Investment Partners is requesting the project be reviewed as a PUD. Seeking relief from the principal and accessory structures. The request for additional buildings intend to improve the site layout, access, and overall aesthetics. We also need to extend TIF 6, so that would require an extension, and it's going to be restructured as a pay-as-you-go agreement. So that also has to go to the joint board or review on March 6th. Trevor Bolin presented Capital Investment Partners. 3 building configuration allow for improved access for emergency vehicles. Commissioner Hovel motion to move forward with the Bluffs plan concept, and it passed. Commissioner Rona approved to approve the request for the public hearing regarding zoning map and amendments. It was also approved. And we also had a request for a public hearing regarding the TIF boundary extension to forward it to the council, and that was also approved. Then we're also provided with the comprehensive plan update. We're going to schedule a public hearing to move forward with that. And that also passed, and that is all I know.
Do we know yet what the date is for the public meeting?
It's March 2nd. Got the next planning commission meeting.
Okay.
Okay, then the next planning commission meeting is Monday, March 2nd at 6 o'clock. Parks Public Works, next meeting Monday, February 16th at 5. Health and Safety, Wednesday, February 18th at 5. And Personnel, Wednesday, February 25th at 5. And next item is communication, new business. Council received public comments on any issue not related to agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. However, no action will be taken on any item. Includes written requests, documentation, possible action at a future meeting. Okay, hearing none. Next item is Great Rivers zoning and planned unit development approval. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So you already reviewed this as part of the Plan Commission meeting. So before you, the concept plan was approved at the last council meeting. We do have Paul Tabone, who's with JP Land, who's the potential developer, and then both the landowners, Al and Chris Mose, are here as well. If there are additional questions or comments afterwards, I'll present briefly on what's being proposed. So JP Brooks Land is the applicant developer. The existing zoning is a mix of R5 single family and A1 agricultural. The request was, as we were considering at our last meeting, and Plan Commission has been reviewing zoning map amendments for both a rezoning for those A1 agricultural land pieces of parcels, and then a planned unit development overlay for future Great Rivers phases. Overall, the proposal does have an additional 242 additional single-family lots. So those 242 lots are a mix of widths. There'll be 39 55-foot wide lots, 155 65-foot wide lots, and 48 75-foot wide lots. The current R5 standard zoning is 75 feet, so that's why that PUD is being requested. The setbacks that are being proposed are front 25 feet, which matches our ordinance, rear 25 feet, which matches our ordinance, and then they're requesting side yard setbacks be proposed at 7.5 feet each side. Our current ordinance is a 8-foot minimum each, with a 20-foot total for side yards. And then the corner lot, right now our side right of way or what's being requested is 20 feet, whereas right now the ordinance is states it has to be 25 rather than the 20. So that's basically, if it's on a corner lot, the side that's not facing not the front side that's facing the street would be 25, and then the side yard that would be facing the street would be 20. So this just gives you a breakdown of a map showing basically parcel 1, 2, and 3, and 4 would be the areas that are being rezoned with the PUD, and just 1, 3, and 4 would be rezoned with the actual, that's currently A1, and be removed or moving to R5 zoning. And this just details then the current proposal for the Great River sidewalk map, and the overall infrastructure for trails and both sidewalks. This would be one that we would be working moving forward with as future phases in terms of implementation of of that infrastructure. So the January 2026 concept plan recommendations from both council and Plan Commission were turn lanes, evaluate need on 570th Street, cost and potential developer participation for turn lanes, future park parking lot, discuss developer assistance park dedication versus fee in lieu, trails planned for Cooley River Trail connection required versus PUD component, sidewalks, add sidewalks, allow future city connections, update layouts for review, and then water pressure, specifically the 2024 water engineering report projects PSI below 30, or at 35 PSI, with full build-out as we move to the east. So looking at that, the standard goal, what we'd like to see is about 50 PSI, so long-term, where do we start to hit that threshold of where it changes going forward? And again, the long-term plan for our engineering report was to build the plan. The option we chose to move forward with as long-term was to look to put a water tower plus a well out there at that development. But no timeline or funding has been set for that to occur. So the conditions of approval that are within the ordinance for you tonight, a master grading plan is required with the preliminary plat. Install all required sidewalk improvements and address trail connection considerations in general accordance with the city pedestrian plan as shown in that map that was before you. Complete a traffic memo west of 570th Avenue and Seawing Boulevard, include current and projected average daily traffic volumes. What we're looking for from the developers counts for over a 4 to 5 day period, including at least one weekend. In terms of parkland, right now we are about 2 acres short for the overall development. So in lieu of land dedication, the developer, what we're looking into is potential enter into a development agreement to provide a fee in lieu of that dedication to be used for future park planning, parking lot construction, and other park improvements. And then finally, or not finally, but number 5, complete water main looping along 570th Street from the west intersection of Seawing to the east end of Seawing. 6 would be max development cap. We are limiting the PUD to the 242 per what the developer has shown in the concept plan. Lot widths are again minimum of 55 and 65 widths, no lots under that 55-foot width. Side yards, that's 7.5 feet per side, combined for 15 feet. Corner lots, which we just went over, and then all other R5 standards within our zoning code must apply, unless modified in the future by a future PUD. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions. It did pass, as the mayor mentioned within the review, it did pass Plan Commission. So what before you tonight is the consideration of approval of ordinance 01-2026. This would amend the official zoning map of the city of Prescott to add that PUD overlay and then alter those 3 parcels from agricultural to R5 single family residential. So with that, I'll turn it over to the council for comments and questions. And I can turn it over. I don't know if you have anything to add, Paul. I can turn it over to you, or if not, you have questions for them as well.
Well, the only thing I think of here is, do we have a dedicated location that we could possibly put that well and tower? You know, because it's pretty well filled with houses as far as I can see here. Or
Yes.
is that planned to be in that park area?
So there's a couple of different options if we end up moving forward. The first would be looking at placing it along 570th when the land dedicated for parkland
Park area,
currently. The other option is just to the south of 570th would be purchasing some of this land and then the city annexing a portion of that to develop a future well and water tower as well. Alternatively, we could look at other options if we wanted to, in terms of even purchasing, work with the developer to purchase a piece of property to put it there. We haven't got that to a level of detail though, but we do have options in terms of where we want to put it.
Okay.
Matt, where are we on the additional 2 acres of parkland? Is that going to be a fee in lieu of, or is it going to be, we're going to find 2 acres someplace?
I don't want to speak for certain, but I think in our conversations that we've had with JP Land and Paul specifically, we'd be looking to do a fee in lieu of. So one thing we haven't done yet, we about 2 years ago now, I think, wow, it's over about 2 years now, we did a full survey of what people would like to see, so we have all those results.
Mm-hmm.
So what ideally what we'd like to do is take those results and then turn it into a concept plan. That's what we did for Fairy Wonderland Park.
Mm-hmm.
We developed a concept plan. That's what we did for McGee Park, working with Cooley River Trails. So developing a concept plan so we can then come up with a cost estimate of what we all want to see there. And that ideally is what we'd like to do in terms of getting a fee in lieu of. I know we really want to make sure that we're taking whatever funds that we have available to try to make the park as nice as possible for everybody who's looking to move there.
So the parking lot would be off that park that is planned there?
Yeah,
then?
so it's hard to see because the
Right about, you were talking about coming in right here.
can't zoom in.
And that,
Okay.
and that'd be park up on the
Okay,
parking lot on the top side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you look at my arrow, there's a proposed, this would be the entrance to the park off the road, and we would look at developing basically a parking lot right in here. But again, until we have the exact concept plan of how we want everything to lay out and what we all want there,
yeah.
we don't have a
Would,
layout.
is that park going to be about as big as the one at St. Croix Bluffs? Or St. Croix
I know what you-
Adams
Fairyland
development?
area.
This
where the
park would be
Fairyland is.
the largest park that we have in the city.
Oh.
I would
don't
say
think
this
we
is
have a
probably
park
twice
that's
as big.
10 acres.
Twice as big?
Acreage wise.
Oh, okay.
'Cause that's, even with the pond in there, it's gotta be at least 8 acres of usable.
It's 12 acres if you take the 2 acres out of stormwater pond, it's 10 acres. That
What's
would be.
10 acres left, okay.
Is that going to be a stormwater pond or an artificial pond for skating or anything like that?
These ponds are, you talk about these two ponds that already exist?
Yeah, they're the stormwater ponds?
Those are the stormwater ponds.
Okay,
I mean, you still could possibly skate on it on years like this year.
yeah.
Just gotta clean out the weeds a little bit.
I think we would probably have a great amount of liability if we let,
People skate
Skate
on
on
the,
Well, I'm
yeah.
just saying,
you know.
I could see people doing it. We used to.
I'd like to see more skating in the city eventually.
I mean,
Any other
long-term,
questions on the-
that's something we could look at. In terms of actually developing an actual skating rink.
I'll look for a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the?
I'll make a motion that we approve the, I wanna make sure I get the right one, Great River Zoning and Planning Unit Development.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve ordinance 01-2026. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Bluffs Concept Plan, Plan Unit Development, and Tax Increment Financing Assistance Proposal.
Thank you, Bear. So Trevor Boland, who's with Capital Investment Partners, had another meeting tonight, so he could not make the actual meeting. He was at the Plan Commission meeting, but this is just the first step in what is a larger project, and it's going to go through quite a bit of meetings in terms of Plan Commission, City Council, and also the joint TIF Review Board. So the concept plan, again, Capital Investment Partners is the developer. They're proposing a 106-unit multifamily development. This is at 1452 Glenridge Drive. That's at the corner of essentially Glenridge and Dexter.
Glenridge Drive.
It's
The base zoning right now is R4,
Well,
high-density residential, and this is
Open
something we
lot,
just
I think, L4,
recently
or they have a
adopted
little-
and changed within our zoning code. The buildings, what they're proposing is 3 main apartment buildings plus detached accessory garage buildings. And this will be a mix of 1, 2, and now additionally 3-bedroom units for a total of 151 total bedrooms. So what's before you then is this concept plan. Again, 40 units here. These two buildings here on the right-hand side will be larger buildings. So 40 units, 42 units. And then this will be a smaller mix with only 24 units, but these will have more of the multifamily 3-bedroom and 2-bedroom. There'll be 2 separate entrances, one off Dexter Street, and then this will be able to cycle through, and then one off Glenridge. And the reason why they prefer that in terms of the overall layout is it gives public safety a better ability to maneuver, and it also is a better aesthetic look in terms of having one very large, massive building that overtakes the lot, spreading it out over 3. Plus, you can then get a more dynamic of the 1-bedroom units off on their own building, whereas the 3 and 2-bedroom units will be more centered in this one. So potentially families that are looking in starting families, or potentially people looking to get out of a house. Overall, the impervious, what is being proposed is about 65%. We'll have a full breakdown. This is just a concept plan again. And so the max is 70%, so they do meet that threshold. Additionally, then the stormwater pond, they would be combining. There's a separate smaller lot, so they would be required to go through a CSM of combining these two lots into one unit. They've put together a couple examples of some exterior renderings. This would meet our architectural standards in terms of a mix of different materials. You can see on the lower level here, this brick, combining with the windows, and then the LP siding here on the side. Our architectural standards for the city require that all multifamily, commercial, and industrial have a mix of different types of materials to break the building up. So that would meet the requirements of our city code. So as part of the request, they are requiring a plan unit development overlay. This is exactly what we just recently did with Pine Meadows, just across the street. The reason they're seeking that relief is right now our R4 standard zoning requires that all the development must be in one principal building, and they can only have a total of 2 accessory structures per parcel. The proposal, as you just saw, was 3 principal buildings and then 4 accessory garage buildings. Prior precedent, as I mentioned, we did approve that same type of setup for Pine Meadows just across the street that's under development, which was 2 principal structures. So for the rezoning in PUD, it would require a Class 2 public notice plus public hearing. The proposal would be that it would go to Plan Commission on Monday, March 2nd, and then City Council on Monday, March 9th for consideration. Additionally, the developer has come forward with a tax increment assistance request. This would be a pay-as-you-go tax increment assistance through extension of TID number 6. The reason for this is to facilitate development of the project due to construction costs. We have had Ellers, our city's financial advisor, do a review of the project cost, and based on their review, they have came to the determination the development would not reasonably be expected to proceed without TIF. Overall, from their sources and uses, what they're proposing right now is a $22.7 million project. They'd be breaking that up. 30% would be equity of 6.8, and then the rest would be in a first mortgage of 15.9 million. Overall, then you can see the breakdown of in terms of uses where that money would go to: acquisition of land, construction costs, financing costs, developer fees. The next step would be Plan Commission and TIF joint board of review to consider possible extension of tax increment district number 6, and then city would begin negotiations on a development agreement with capital investment partners if this project continues to move forward. So to give you an idea then of that extension for that TID number 6, so in the yellow, this is the boundary currently of TID number 6. This was approved in September of 2024, apologize. September of 2024, TID 6 was established. Right now it makes up Unify, Foley, SV Labs, and then our future 150 acres of our industrial park. So this extension would add the 2 school district parcels, which, since it's a government entity, it has a 0 tax base, 0 value, so this doesn't affect in terms of our valuation, any addition to that. So then the piece that would be added on then would really be this number 10 parcel here for future development. So with that, there are 3 items before you tonight for a vote in terms of this project. The first one is for the actual approval of the concept plan itself. The second one would be for approval of scheduling a public hearing to be held by Plan Commission at their meeting on March 2nd. And then the third one would be for the Plan Commission to hold a public hearing on March 2nd regarding the tax increment financing extension to TID number 6. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions.
Yeah, Matt, would the proposal, would it include any rent subsidized units within the housing development?
Rent subsidized units? Mm-hmm. No, not that I'm aware
So
of.
it's all at market value
Market rate.
rental?
Although, if you look at what market rate is, and for instance, The ones we just did in Pine Meadows, those weren't subsidized units, but they were at a low income rate based on the Urban Development, Department of Housing and Urban Development. Because we're in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area, they're using those rents, and basically they were all falling within the low income threshold. These rents aren't going to be much different from what was just done across
Proposed
the
there.
street.
I mean, they would include some low-income rental then.
They're not, I'm just saying, based on the threshold of what low income is, these rents aren't gonna be different, but they're not gonna be held to the same standards, because then that project, we had an actual development agreement that required them to meet that 80% threshold for low income definition for affordable housing.
Considering that we're using government funds, our own funds for this, the request is from the TIF. So couldn't we request that they put some lower income housing available in these structures?
We could, it was just based on their sources and uses and the review that was already done, it's gonna change things, so I'm not sure how that would affect, because obviously they are making their projections based on a certain rent income and how much they're gonna make on that project versus how much they're gonna spend. So if we're lowering their potential revenue, that would be the question of how that would adjust everything.
We do know that low-income housing and first house buyers are really, it's really difficult to rent or buy in our city at this time. And if we have planned our TIFs to bring in businesses or industry in particular, those would be geared to lower income people, not necessarily the lowest income, but lower income people than people that are currently working in the Twin Cities. So I just guess this is something that we've talked about on the council before, about needing some of that lower income, lower rental market in our city. People tell me, like the pastor at Joy Lutheran told me that she can't afford to live in Prescott, so she lives in River Falls. So I just want us to be aware that we are becoming an exclusive market. I believe we are becoming an exclusive market.
When you look at the cost of how much they have to invest into actually building, building low rent into it would, their ROI would be way out there, and they might not get their financing for it.
I agree. I understand what the
Okay.
difficulties are, but I do think that every time we have those tax increment districts for a reason, and that's to bring more jobs into the community. And those jobs would not be people necessarily working in the Twin Cities metro area in banking and finance and high-end tech. So I'm just like, are we keeping things in sync?
Well, with that low-income 55 building that were put right behind the manor, they're with taking the cities, and their one bedroom was supposed to be approximately $1,400 a month, and a two bedroom was $1,600. That is higher than most of the rents in town already, by quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's falling under the low income 80%.
And that's considered low income,
Yeah.
because we got the Twin Cities involved.
So that's the reality of housing everywhere. I mean, not even St. Croix, Pierce County, but also just across the river. That's what everybody's, in terms of dealing with the benchmark of what is low income is definitely becoming more, raising and raising as we go with inflation and all other factors that we're dealing with.
Any more questions, comments? Okay, need some motions, one at a time.
I'll make a motion to approve the Bluffs concept plan planned unit development and tax increment financing assistance proposal.
Second.
So you're going to number 3.
Yeah,
Do you want to do them separately?
3?
I mean, if you wanna take
I'm
the
just reading this-
totality of all three of them and you guys don't see any issues with that,
Okay,
you're
if you
gonna
wanna approve all
them,
three of
bundle
them,
all
then-
of them.
Items 1 through 3.
you,
Okay, you want to redo your motion?
well, I think you can just do all three at the same time.
That's, yeah. But you need to redo your motion.
Okay. I make a motion to, trying to think how to state that. Well, let's just go, I make a motion to approve number 1 of the approval of the Bluff Concept Plan and Capital Investment Partners.
Second.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to consider approval of schedule a public hearing and adding a planning unit development for the project at the March 2nd Planning Commission meeting.
I'll second.
And then I'll make a motion to consider approval of schedule of a public hearing related to a tax increment financing at the March 2nd Planning Commission meeting.
I'll second that as well.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve items 1, 2, and 3. Are there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Nay.
You said nay? Okay. Motion carried. So the next item on the agenda is a council workshop to discuss future planning at the wastewater treatment plant with Cedar Core set for March 4th at 5 o'clock. Everybody make that?
Yep.
Yeah, that should work. Yep. Sure. Yep. That's good for me.
So we don't have any closed session. We need one more motion.
I'll make a motion to, I don't know, I forgot.
Adjourn.
Adjourn. Couldn't think of the damn word.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to
to leave
adjourn.
the
All those in
Yeah, I
favor say aye.
What's the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.